What's poppin', people? You got Jay Bear here, bringing you all LTM week number 6 going up against Necro Stevo. And yeah, just a reminder, LTM is the low tier league. And before we get into things properly, I just wanted to ask that you go ahead and leave a like if you enjoy this content. Subscribe if you are new or have not yet subscribed yet. It would mean a lot to me as I continue on my journey to become the best draft league player that I can be. But yeah, just a quick spoiler warning in 3, 2, 1. Last week we were able to defeat Keegan to move on to 3-2, putting us back firmly positive. And we're going to need to really maintain that momentum if we're going to want to make playoffs. It's looking like 6-3 is going to be what we need to clinch. So we have about a 3-1 projection left if we want to really secure our spot in the playoffs. Ideally 7-2. We just rattle off 4 more wins, and we can potentially clinch a pick opponent spot in the top 3 seeds, and that would be very valuable for us. Or even just 4th seed to be immune from being picked by the top 3 seeds. Obviously, with the 4th seed, you're just kind of like playing who's left, so I don't consider that one like a true premium spot, but I guess it prevents you from being picked, which is a really good benefit in itself. But in case you missed towards the end of last video, we also did make a bunch of transactions. We used all 5 that we could. My team was just feeling, not as fun to prep with as I would like. Matchups feeling more challenging than they needed to be. Game plans feeling more precise than they needed to be. I like generally my defensive checks to be looser to things as opposed to tighter, where it kind of felt like last team I was very reactive. I didn't feel quite as proactive with what I was doing. And I hope that this fix can go ahead and make us a little bit more proactive and make me feel like I can create some more opportunities for myself while also being able to maybe add more like blanket defensive checks. You'll see what I have as I break it down. So obviously Mienshao and Gyarados, our 2 star players, stayed. And the bottom of the draft, the Bisharp, Dusknoir, Coalossal, they stayed. They've actually, maybe not Bisharp, but Dusknoir and Coalossal have both really surprised me with how effective they've been this season. And I didn't quite see any reason to move off of them. So we did drop Rhyperior, which was our main ground type, so that's a thing that we're going to have to fill. Hatterene, our fairy type, which is another role that we're going to have to fill. Raikou, which is our speed, which is another role that we're going to have to fill. Abomasnow, our ground resist, another role that we have to fill. And then, forget the last Pokemon, Quillfish, our bulky water, and our grounded poison. So a lot of things were actually just 1-for-1 direct swaps / upgrades. It was Gardevoir coming in for Hatterene. It got dropped by that, and we managed to snag that up, giving us the best, probably one of the best, at least, special breakers in the format. Very strong, like Moonblasts and Psyshocks, same coverage as Hatterene, but faster, giving us an opportunity. Either Mienshao or Gardevoir probably come Scarf every week, but they're both pretty good in the fact that they can be one or the other. It doesn't necessarily need to be both of them, and it really frees up the offensive capabilities of both of them by allowing each one to not necessarily need Scarf every week. Where it kind of felt like Mienshao really wanted to Scarf every week, but now that's no longer the case, I hope. Toxapex's direct upgrade over Quillfish. We have a lot of much stronger threats that Quillfish wasn't going to hold up against. I was like looking at the rest of our season. Pokemon like Volcanion and Staraptor are Pokemon that we kind of need Toxapex's defensive prowess for a little bit more, and that's why I picked it up over the Quillfish. Toadscruel, there was a couple of matchups where I wanted the Toadscruel for Pokemon like Sandy Shocks, and Rhyperior was overall just very challenging to bring. Jolteon is the next Pokemon that I picked up. Raikou was just like really not good to use. Jolteon, I like the Electric Fairy Ghost combination, the additional speed, as well as the points that we were granted from this, all culminate in Jolteon being, I think, a really, really nice pickup for us. And we had 10 points left, and those 10 points, we had a couple of different things that we could do with them. We were limited to only being able to pick up 1 Pokemon, which was a bit unfortunate. Ultimately, I settled on Porygon 2, even though it was 9 points, so we actually have a point left for charity. But The Porygon 2, just a very good blanket defensive check, and actually pretty strong offensively. I wish it still kept, like Toxic or Teleport, but still, there's often a Pokemon in a matchup that having the Porygon 2 as just a safe blanket check would be really nice. And as you'll see here and in many matchups going forward, the trace ability super strong on both Porygon and Gardevoir. So now we can finally break down this Necro-Stevo matchup. His threats, that top of the draft, I think they're all very, very potent attackers. Gengar, Flygon, Mesprit, Tinkaton. Maybe not attackers, but very potent Pokemon. Gengar, I really expect a Trick Set to come here. Porygon 2 and Toxapex can obviously help take it on. Same with the Bisharp, but like Focus Blast plus Shadow Ball, I think is just a very challenging combination of moves in general. And especially into this team, it's quite challenging. And like I just think like Trick Specs makes a lot of sense. Flygon, actually quite manageable with the trace on Gardevoir and Porygon, meaning that we're going to have 2 additional ground immunities into the strong ground type here, kind of forcing him to be like Superpower plus a Terra Blast that hits that hits the Gardevoir, and then Earthquake and Dragon Dance if he wants to do that. Or I think like Choice Scarf makes some sense too, but I think it's a pretty challenging bring. Mesprit, Setup Mon, or Good Rocks here. Either way, I feel like it can do a lot of things. I foresee Flygon wanting the Terra more than the Mesprit. Tinkaton, very, very annoying. Bulky Pivot, best in on Gardevoir. Pickpocket can be kind of annoying potentially for Mienshao, especially if it like wants to steal my item and it's like actually prepped to do so with like a Choice Scarf, like, or be willing to like take a Choice Scarf, because it's a very good set here. Bramblegast, I don't think is all that likely. Vaporeon, potentially annoying. Could be like a Calm Mind Bulky Water set, trying to like set up on like Gyarados, or like could be Roar. But again, forced into either being Water Absorbed to try to check Gyarados and Toxapex, or being Hydration, giving up on that Water Absorb, but meaning that Porygon doesn't trace the Water Absorb. Arcanine, similar deal with like Intimidate. Could be a potential offensive breaker. Extreme Speed is always really nice, but I have Toxapex to come in. Belly Bolt, I think, could come for Gyarados, or it could not. Flamigo, this is one of the most formidable offensive Pokemon here. There was a time where I drafted it a couple times early gen, and yeah, it's definitely still a very strong Pokemon. Very challenging to get in due to how frail it is, but the offenses are definitely there, and I think Choice Band, it can like 2-hit KO Toxapex with Brave Bird, forcing some awkward pivots. Obviously, the close combat's really good at like shredding my other potential defensive sponge in Porygon 2. Scrappy means I can't rely on Dusknoir for that, or intimidating it with Gyarados. Mabostiff potentially has like niche counterplay to like Gengar with, or not Gengar, Gyarados with either Intimidate or like potentially Guard Dog. Cly's brought a very interesting Mirror Herb set on it, which I thought was super cool to come in on Gyarados and really punish that guy. Murkrow I don't think is real. But yeah, before I get into the rest of the build, I just want to quickly shout out not only Cly's, but also Pokelee and Who. Thank you, fellas, for the mocks and for the team building assist. Really makes this team come together a lot more, especially due to the transactions. It really felt like, kind of like those first week jitters almost. But yeah, we can start breaking it down with the Porygon 2. Originally, I had it more offensively, but ultimately settled on this EV spread, which can tank a Banded Flamigo close combat, or 2 Brave Birds, which is the important one, and be able to just recover it off. Ice Beam's really nice coverage into Flygon, potentially. Murkrow as well a little bit. The Ice Beam plus Discharge combination, very, very challenging for him to switch into, as all good Bolt Beam is. Shadow Ball to pick off Gengar. I thought that was an important Mon to slot a coverage move for, and then obviously the Recover. With this offensive investment, we're really chunking down the Flygon, especially the defense, like I mentioned, and the Spadef was kind of just left over from my offensive calc that I was looking for, which was Flygon Ice Beam damage, and as well as like discharge damage on a potential non-Terra ground. So yeah, and then Trace, I've mentioned a couple of its uses already. First, the Flygon, second, the Vaporeon, and third, potentially like Arcanine or Mastiff Intimidates, I think are all very, very real for us. Up next, we have Toxapex, our next defensive wall, with a Rocky Helmets, Regenerator, of course, Toxic Liquidation, Recover Haze, come in on Flamigo or Arcanine, or Tinkaton is our best Tinkaton pivot, just because knockoff's a really, really annoying move. Rocky Helmet's really nice into Arcanine and into the Flamigo. Throwing off Toxic can be really nice into Vaporeon into Flygon that might want to come in on a switch. I have to be pretty aggressive with when I click the Toxics, otherwise it's going to be hard to get them off. Haze for any setup shenanigans like Flygon potentially or Mesprit that want to try to like set up on me. And then we have the Recover, of course, and then Liquidation actually does pretty solid damage into what I need to do damage to, like Gengar. It'll like break subs on that. Mesprit doesn't quite break subs, but yeah, that's Toxapex here. Up next, Terra Ground Gyarados. I went with something a little bit new this time for Gyara, that being Terra Ground, our 4th Terra type on the season. We went Earthquake Waterfall as the coverage suite. Forgoes being able to super effectively hit Bramblegast or even neutrally hit Bramblegast in exchange for very strong coverage into the rest of the team, hitting everything at least neutrally. Even like a Terra Water Flygon could be annoying for this, but I don't foresee Terra Water Flygon because I feel like he wants something to help with Jolteon potentially, and otherwise it gets a little bit dicey, of course. And then substitute, there's a world where Belly Bolt actually doesn't carry Muddy Water, just because it would kind of need to be hard calling Terra Ground on this thing, but like a Toxic Volt Switch Slack Off protects that, like Toxic Protect for your lefties as well, and then Volt Switch or Thunderbolts, because Muddy Water doesn't hit anything super effectively on this team other than Colossal, and like you don't really need Colossal coverage on your Belly Bolt, so I think that it could potentially not come, in which case Substitute is very free and we just Dragon Dance up and we can win from there. Up next, Gardevoir, also making the debut. Modest Nature. Speed was a bit of a tough call on what to do. I ultimately decided on a low speed Tinkaton as what I'm outspeeding, which should also cover most Mesprits and all Vaporeons. Moonblast, Psyshock, Mystical Fire, Encore. With the lefties, Encore, very, very teched on along with the Psyshock to potentially beat a Vaporeon that is Calm Minding on me, or potentially like a Dragon Dance Flygon, or even like a Calm Mind Mesprit. Moonblast, just really good consistent damage into the rest of the team that isn't Tinkaton, which is why we have Mystical Fire. Max special attack to a KO some Tinkaton. The less specially defensive ones, I just assume it's going to be Max Def, and there's no way that we could 2 KO it, but I didn't really need any additional bulk. Lefties are nice just coming in on incidental turns where like we want to like potentially come in on like Vaporeons that are clicking water moves and recover on them, or come in on like Flygon that's clicking Earthquake or Outrage or something along those lines, and just the lefties overall being nice, as well as like into some Mesprit variants as well. Our 5th Pokemon here is going to be Mienshao with the Choice Scarf this week. Close Combat, Knockoff U-Turn, Triple Axle. Pretty standard Shao set. Triple Axle is an endgame that we can work to if we kill Belly Bolt or weaken it. Close Combat's an endgame we can work to if we kill Gengar and do a bunch of chip to Mesprit. Knockoff endgame is also potentially playable, and then U-Turn obviously for momentum. But overall, we just wanted a very consistent revenge killer, and it revenge kills everything that needs to be revenge killed aside from like a very bulky like setup E-Speed Arcanine. So overall, I feel like I'm pretty happy with this Mienshao set. And our last Pokemon is the Jolteon. Welcome back, Jolteon, to the team. Thunderbolt, Alluring Voice, Volt Switch, Shadow Ball with the Expert Belt item. Expert Belt gives us kills on most Gengars and most Bramblegasts, which I thought was pretty nice. We really want to be clicking Volt Switch as much as possible. Occasionally, the Shadow Balls for the Bramblegast and Gengar, and then Alluring Voice for potentially Flygon. But pretty standard team. I feel like nothing too crazy. Our craziest tech's probably Encore on the guard, but even that's like nothing too crazy. Just a very fun team to build with, and I hope that it does justice in the battle. I'll see you guys there. Peace. Alrighty, and we are in team preview going up against Necro. We see the Gengar, Mesprit, Arcanine, Bramblegast, Flamigo, and Flygon. Bit annoying to see the Bramblegast just because I am Terra Ground Gyarados with my coverage being Waterfall and Earthquake. But this thing, his team not having Tinkaton, very, very nice for my Gardevoir. Although, it might be a bit tough to get it into the battle, but like, Psyshock itself looks really, really safe into most of his team. And as for my lead, he has a bunch of different stuff that he could do. I like my lead Gyarados just because I don't got the boots, so I want to make sure I'm not taking too much from the rocks. No Belly Bolt as well is pretty nice. That guy's a little annoying for me to switch into, but yeah. Good luck, have fun to Necrostevo. The most annoying Pokemon for me are definitely Flamigo. If it's Choice Banded, that thing just kills everything. I go Pex once, right, and I can see if it's close combat, I'm fine. If it's Brave Bird, I'm a bit rough. I've got like Porygon 2 that isn't 2-hit KO'd if there's no hazards, but like it's a bit rough. As he leads the Mesprit. Awesome. Immediately with my Gyarados, we get Intim down. I've got a couple of different options, but I think no matter what, it's Terra, and then it's either Sub, Dragon Dance, or Waterfall. I think just like raw Terra DD makes a lot of sense here early. Maybe like into Bramble instantly it could be bad, but like he's probably just rocking up. If he Terras, It makes Flygon a lot easier to deal with. The Flygon being Terra Ground makes me think it's probably Scarf, but like it's kind of a burger flipper into Double Trace, so I'm gonna lock Dragon Dance here. And then we'll see what he wants to do, because there's a chance that the sequence goes Dragon Dance on Rocks Up, and then he wants to swap. We get our Terra off first, or maybe just our Terra off, period. No way to know yet. So we got the Ground Gyarados, our, I believe, 4th Terra type this season in 6 weeks, which is crazy. And we just get the Dragon Dance. So we're faster, he doesn't Terra. As he probably just elects to Rock Up, maybe? Mystical Power. That does not do a lot, but obviously it'll raise his special attack. I'm happy at this point to just go for a Waterfall. Should be a pretty positive click and hopefully 2-hit KO. I could also sub up once, but then it's just like feeding it special attack raises if that's what he wants to do, and Waterfall doesn't really have a resist for him, so... like, yes, there's Bramblegast, but it's 2-hit KO'd, if you can believe that. Unless it's, like, max, and even then it still might be. So, yeah, we're in a pretty good spot just clicking Dragon Dance turn 1. Sometimes you just do the thing, right? Like, we just get our Waterfall. Good thing I didn't elect to sub. Doesn't quite do half. He's very bulky, as he just goes for another Mystical Power. Mathematically, I think after lefties, I should live the next one. Yeah, because that did 120, and I'm at above 200, so I should live this one. And trading for Mesprit with no rocks is honestly a pretty good trade for my Gyarados. It's into his comp a bit hard to just get it in when I wanted it to. There were some comps where Gyara just kind of smoked no matter what. But this is not really one of those. This is a comp where more so we're looking for trades, right? We want to be ahead into Flamigo, into Gengar. Like, those are big guys that we just really care about trading positively into. Yeah. And hopefully we can stay doing that. As we get another Waterfall off. Show me a flinch, actually. Like, he just gets another Mystical Power. And we do chew. Perfect. Gets a 3rd special attack raise. If he's Custap, he's Custap, like, that's fine. We just go Mancho on U-turn, but other than that, pretty clean Waterfall. Yeah, not much to say about this turn, like, no reason to scout for Custap into the +3 Mesprit, right? Like, yeah, there was a lot of, like, potential that could have happened, like either a Waterfall flinch, a Mystical Power miss, you know, but, like, ultimately it doesn't matter too much that we didn't get any of it. Can't complain, right? Like, and he's considering, like, if he's Custap, pretty cool bring. He actually switches it out, so maybe he's got like a Rocky Helmet in the back that we're gonna, yeah, Big Spook Bramblegast. If this thing's Rocky Helmet, that could be interesting. Waterfall does over 50, which is crazy, and he's not Rocky Helmet. Do I want to scout Scarf at this point with my Gyara? I feel like if he's Scarf, that's really good information, because it's likely not Scarf Gar, likely not Scarf Flamigo. I still think, like, Flygon's the most likely Scarf, right? Like, I'm just gonna Earthquake, to, like, not risk anything else. If he's Scarf, he's Scarf. He's Sneak, Do we live sneak from here? Yeah, we actually do. Awesome. And we just get a nice earthquake off. Perfect. So we have the Mesprit down to like 10%. Our Gyarados lived on like 8 HP, which is awesome. And the Mesprit's low, right? Like, that's a pretty favorable trade. That's his spinner down. We actually don't really have hazards, so it doesn't really matter, but his spinner is down. Alright, because Pex is Liquidation, Haze, Toxic, Recover, so we don't have spikes on it. Or Toxic spikes, rather, I mean. But yeah, I decided Toxic on that guy was a little bit better. Arcanine comes out. I do just have really free Toxapex on this. I can save this as a sack. Yeah. Get free Pex and, like, click either a Liquidate or a Recover, or a Toxic, right? Like, we've got options. But yeah, no, I'm very satisfied with that lead Gyarados action. He just goes for the extreme speed and takes Rocky Helmet. Perfect for us. The only Toxic immunity would be a hard Gengar play, but I feel like either Gengar or Mesprit are likely, and we're at a point where the Liquidation should pick off Mesprit from here, so I am just going to go for Liquidation. And I assume he switches out his Arcanine, right? Like, it's a pretty good Pokemon to keep in the back. Yeah, he does switch. Hopefully it's just Mesprit and we're actually able to pick it off from here. If not, we can go like Gengar. Awesome. Glad I didn't Toxic. Let's see how much this does. Our Liquidation actually does like a good chunk. And now I am going to switch. A, we are we're Fizdef Pex into a special attacker. And B, I really have to be wary of Trick here. So I'm actually going to sacrifice my Gyarados just to be wary of like a potential Trick coming out into my Porygon or something like that. But we get the Intim off, doesn't matter, into a Gengar, of course. As he goes for Hypnosis. Man, I hate Hypnosis, but probably not Trick, it means. And now with our Gyara being Sleep Fodder, even more reason to keep it around, right? Like, we can go Porygon now, not have to fear being slept, and not really having to fear Trick either. I guess, like, no, because he didn't show Black Sludge, so it's like he can't be Trick Black Sludge if he didn't show it. Probably Blunder Policy then, right? Like, make it make sense. Doing a little bit of rationalizing. But, you know, we'll hold on to this Gyarados that's, like, honestly performing a lot better off of lead than I really expected it to. I was just kind of, like, trying to maybe, like, lead, throw off a little bit of chip damage before, like, anything. Like, and then getting out before, like, rocks went up. I just expected, like, early rocks. But, yeah, we'll hold on to our Sleep Fodder. Get into our Porygon. Because, like, also now he can't spam Hypnosis for fear of, like, like, trying to proc Blunder Policy. He just goes for a raw Focus Blast. That's my goat. Porygon should eat this pretty well. Yeah, now we can just... Oh, he gets the Spadef drop. That's actually really bad. Because now we can't just spam Recover on this thing, right? So I have a couple of plays. Mian Xiao could be one. Jolteon could actually work. Hex could work at this point. I like Jolteon because I know I live one, and hopefully it just misses a Focus Blast, right? Like, get a little bit of justice after Focus Blast Spadef drops. Like, I forget that move can do that because it just misses every time. He just Focus Blasts again. Yeah, Jolteon takes that quite well. I am just going to rip a Shadow Ball. Should be pretty safe. Either chip into Flygon or kill the Gengar. If it's just like chip into Flygon, that's pretty good for me, right? Like, I don't mind. And, like, Flygon can be a bit annoying with my Porygon chipped, but I still have, like, Guardian. I can always recover with my Porygon, and he's not Terra, like, Poison or Steel, so he doesn't, like, have that move for Guardian. He's probably, like, I see Terra Ground. I just assume, like, oh, you're probably just, like, Scarf into my team, right? Like, I feel like setup Ground, you're missing out on very important coverage. He does actually switch the Gengar into Arcanine. That's more than fine by me. We'll get a Shadow Ball off. Probably into a Spadef Arcanine. Yeah. The Thunderbolt or Volt Switch, you know, it's not going to kill, so I'm just going to go into my Pex. And we're pretty free to just, like, rip Liquidation again into this thing. He could double. Like, the Flygon double actually makes tremendous sense from here. I could have gone Porygon, too, to, like, potentially anticipate that, but then I wouldn't have traced Levitate. I would have traced Intimidate, which wouldn't have been helpful. Right, because he did Intimidate me, I'm pretty sure. I actually wasn't paying enough attention, but I'm, like, pretty sure that he Intimidated. Right, like, there's no reason for you to be Flash Fire into me. My Fire's a Colossal, right? Like, yeah, like, what are you Flash Firing? I'm gonna Rock Move you. And there's no reason to be, justified. Like, what am I gonna do? Knock you off? But yeah, we just go Pex. Yeah, I think the Flygon switch is going to be ripped on his end. Like, I'm pretty confident in that. Oh, he just Psychic Fangs is pretty good play. He'll take Helmet, obviously. Is that banded damage? I don't think so. I can rip a quick calc on the mobile. Like, I am, like, max Fizdef Pex, right? Like, Toxapex from Arcanine. Like, if I'm, like, max Fizdef, not quite max Fizdef, but, like, 212 is, I believe, what I am. Like, I'm just trying to see if, like, I go Guardy or not. That looks like it's banded. The only question is, like, yeah, no, I just go Guardy. Like, just my head calc says banned. Let me look at Psychic Fangs. It's like, I'm pretty sure that did over 50%. Like, so this'll... Oh, he is justified. Psychic Fangs. Cool. Get my lefty's Gardevoir action. Now it's like, do I wanna... just rip a Psyshock, honestly. Mesprit's in range, everything else is in range, like... Yeah, I'll rip a Psyshock. He swaps, probably sacking the Mesprit at this point, I would imagine. Big feelings, that was the Mespy, yeah. Actually lives, but that's actually good for me, because I get another turn of lefties. My Guardy is faster than my Gara, and my Gara outsped, so... Quick math. Get another Psyshock off. So yeah, good job, Guardy. First kill on the new squad. Really, really happy that Guardy got onto my team. I'll talk more about it in the builder, I'm sure, but yeah, I'm so happy that I was able to get this Pokemon onto my team. The new additions, right? I brought 4 out of 5 of them this week, and they've all been doing quite well so far. The Mienshao Triple Axle endgame is looking quite good. Just like Flamigo is in range at full health. Gengar's in range from where it's at. What else is on his team? Arcanine's like not quite there, but getting there. And Flygon, even with Terra, is there. So yeah, I think the actual endgame looks pretty solid. He's probably Helmet on the Mesprit. Oh wait, no, he's not, because my Gyarados didn't take it. I have no idea what that Mesprit item was. Flygon's out. I'm gonna go into my Porygon 2. Trace a quick Levitate. Probably gonna see an U-turn come out. Maybe a Dragon Dance, but likely U-turn. And then I can just rip Ice Beam with Porygon, make sure that he can't like set up too much, and then I can always trace with the guard if shit really hits the fan. Yeah. Terra's rips that quite, not quite early, but rips that now. I guess earliest possible moment for the Flygon too, right? Like, oh yeah, we're double Terra Grounds this game. Pretty fun. I always have like Gara as an Intim sack too. The Earthquakes. Oh, we get our recover turn. This is beautiful. Flygon the ultimate burger flipper in this matchup. Just go ahead and click recover. Flamigo can't even really come in safely on an Ice Beam. I originally had a lot more offensive investment to like really make sure Flamigo couldn't come in on like a turn like this, but still we're in a position where that's the case. Arcanine comes out. Knowing that you're banded, I can just recover again, see what you lock into. Arcanine doesn't have Trick. Yeah, I'm just gonna recover again. Quick Scout. Go for a little stalling action. Not actually stalling. I'm no who. I have ethics, right? Like Mr. Ethics, man. I hope who's watching this. But yeah, hopefully we rip a quick recover on like a Psychic Fangs or something. We just like go to town. We're able to start like clicking our either Ice Beam, Shadow Ball, Discharge, you know, the whole shebang. Very good coverage suite for Porygon this week. There was a lot of people that were ripping like Flygons that I didn't have coverage for, like Steel, and I was just like, oh please, Lord Discharge. And actually in Mox, like Lord Discharge was providing a lot, which is really fun. Oh, close combat. That shouldn't kill. Yeah. So we chew that up. Take your defense drops. And now we can get Pex in on the recover turn. From this Porygon. Pex comes next. You're banded. I lucky forget that this thing gets close combat sometimes. Yeah, Pex is better than Guardy just because I'm going to want to regen again. Give him Helmet Chip. The whole shebang. I think he should double out. But like he hasn't been making any like aggressive doubles at all this game, and I don't really know how you punish the Pex with what his build is like containing, to be completely honest. This Porygon just like sitting here menacingly. He does make the double switch, very good turn from him. But I was just like again in a place where I didn't need to call that out at all. In comes the Flygon, but we just get free regen turn, so I don't really mind. Guardy would have gone absolutely ham here just because it... What was I going to say? It just like would have traced Levitate off rip. But yeah, I just go back out into my Porygon, and now my Pex is back at full, which is really nice for Flamigo. But the way that he's playing it, I feel like that was a potential... maybe not, because like Pex is like my only response to it. So I feel like that was a potential turn to get it in, but get Levitate back. Thank you very much. He just U-turns, yeah. This is like where I wish I had hazards, but like even then, like, oh well. So the Arcanine likely Flare Blitz last. Means that like Pex is always very safe on it, but this is a Flamigo turn if I've ever seen one. I do die to close combat with my investment from here. I'm like EV'd to live it at full, but from here I die. But like he'd have to make the... Oh, he just goes Gengar. Do I just want to rip my Shadow Ball and rely on Guardy to check the Flygon? Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm just going to rip the Shadow Ball. Just be done with this. He plots. Even better. Shadow Ball should pick it off from here. Very good job, Porygon 2. Shadow Ball does indeed pick off the Gengar. And we're moving. We're moving with a pretty good position. I assume Flamigo is going to hit the field now. Right? Like, you can't just never bring it in. Flygon. I'll Ice Beam it. I still have Levitate. Right? Yeah, because he U-turned into Gengar. So I still have Levitate. I got Object Permanence in my brain. Maybe he forgot. That'd be pretty cool. But Ice Beam should be a 2 KO. He just U-turns though. Into Arcanine, that's really good. Into Flamigo. best case, right? Like, it's just like near dead to Ice Beam, plus like Helmet plus like other stuff, I think. So there goes the Arcanine. Good rip. And that should be pretty near to locking up the Axel endgame as well. I'll go Pex, right? Like, we always have switches out of the Pex if he Psychic Fangs is, and everything else is just so free. So, like, I think that's a very, very good position for us right now. We could have recovered maybe that turn, but like the turn with the Flygon, not now. I don't think I'm in close combat range, but it might be close. Although I don't think he rips close combat. I don't think you can rip Psychic Fangs here, though. I feel like that's... Like, maybe you can, but, like, even then, you don't kill the Pex. I just switch out into, like, something else and force a kill, right? Like... Justified Arcanine, I guess, is just so I don't trace the Intim, right? Like, that's a pretty smart tech, actually. We just switch first, so he's obviously not doubling here. I do think the Flygon double made a lot of sense again. But yeah, he does rip the Psychic Fangs. We get the exact same damage roll. He takes down to like 1 HP off of the helmets. And I'm just going to regen back up, man. Like, do I rip Porygon here? Or do I just rip Guard? I think I can just rip Guard again, right? Like, Psyshock should, or I guess Moonblast, right, is a better click. Should be pretty close to just closing things out. Obviously means that we're not in as Levitate. He makes the switch, so actually we're just in like a golden spot. There, he finally gets the Flamigo in. As we get Guard. So now we have options. He's obviously scrappy. We should just die to Brave Bird here, no matter what. Where Pex is at, I live 1. If it's Scarf, I should live... Maybe not live 2. But if it's Scarf, then I just know, and I can always like sack my Gyarados and stuff. Very good turn for him to actually rip that Flamigo in finally, but I think this was his best breaker, and he might have just gotten it in a little bit too late here, right? Like, your Arcanine's at 1. Your Flygon isn't low yet, but, like, has 2 immovable walls that you really, really struggle with. And, then it's just the Flamigo, which is too frail. And if it's like banded, it's not beating anything. If it's Scarf, it's too weak to really matter. So that's why I'm like, in my head, this is just like, it has to be banded. But hopefully, like, my deductions are making sense. But yeah, I just get Pex in. He rips the Brave Bird. Okay, it's not banded. If it's not banded, it might just be time to sat Gyarados here. He did really well for us, but I need my regen back. It's a roll from here. I don't want to lose my Pex. I think he would have needed quite a high roll, but still, I just don't want to lose Pex here. He rips another Brave Bird. And now Mienshao should be able to get in and triple Axel through most of this team from here. We just have to hit moves, which hopefully we can do. And even if we don't, like, we're in a good enough spot where it doesn't matter. Yeah. Let's go Mienshao. Yeah, hit my Axel. Hopefully we just connect. Yeah, like 1. Should take all 3 here. Yeah. Oh, we only hit twice. Good job, Mienshao. Okay, he'll kill himself to the Brave Bird recoil. That's fine. Alright. Good job, Mienshao. You did jack shit. 2 team captains are the ones who met their unfortunate demise first. I just go Guardy here. either Arcanine comes in and I just go Pex. Actually, no, I think I just stay in regardless, right? Like, the only way it kills me, it kills itself. And that would be Flare Blitz, and that would be, like, optimal. Just means I get P2 in cleanly. Or he goes Flygon, and I get his Levitate right away. Both of which pretty advantageous for us. He just goes Arcanine. Makes sense. But yeah. There should be no move that like Scarf Flygon can lock at this point to win. Make this game unthrowable for me. How would I do that? It would just be going Jolteon, going down a diff point. Guaranteed. Is there any way that I like know that I really safely win 4-0? I think it's just going Pex, like, right? That's like not gonna lose me the game. But I think I will just end up winning 3-0. Just I guess not. I guess I can always, yeah, he just Flare Blitzes. He'll go ahead and take himself out. And then it's like, are you Dragon Dance, U-turn, Earthquake? That still doesn't beat P2, right? Because I assume your Dragon move last. So there's no real reason for me to rip like Toxic from Pex here. So I think it is just go P2 and clutch it out. Or I guess go Guardy, because that also walls like Outrage. But yeah, should be a 4-0. Unless I found a like magical way to throw this game. I don't think so. I think P2 should just be fat enough. Like P2 Guardy. Shouldn't be able to be broken by this thing. But yeah, no. The way that he's played, I assume it's choiced of some sort. Oh, it is Dragon Dance. Okay. So. I just Encore. Whatever you are, and I should be fine. Because you might be like, oh, I need to Dragon Dance again, but Encore should wrap this up with the guard. And then if you attack, right? Like, you're either going to be like Encored into U-turn, or like Earthquake, you can't hit me, or more than likely, yeah, Dragon Dance, your Encore should be game. Boom. Shout out Encore. Yeah, and then 2. Moonblast should pick this thing up, but I think he's Encored for long enough where we go ahead and win this game. Very happy that I thought of that Encore tech, and he's just stuck dancing. Moonblast should be to a KO. I'm max modest. And like, it would KO a Flygon from full, right? And like, so Terra Flygon takes half as much. Yeah, does 75. Okay. That'll be game. Good game to Necro. We take the nice 4-0 victory, and we'll move to 4-2. It's a very good spot to be. Got some pretty big games left to really make that playoff push, but because it's a very tight league, there's a lot of defeated coaches, but no undefeated coaches, which means that like the top is very condensed, and then there's like some stragglers down at the bottom. But yeah, good games to Necro. We advanced to 4-2, and yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. I really enjoyed playing with this new team. I really enjoyed prepping with it, and yeah, peace.